This is Chris Blake. Dan Hall and I volunteer every year at the Uganda Rural Fund. This is an outfit that serves the children along the so-called AIDS highway from Kampala to Rwanda. More than 50% of the people that live along this road are under 15 years of age, thanks to the AIDS epidemic. They start out often as orphans, and life is a very tough matter for them. This fellow is from a child-led household, no adults there. He's very proud of that kitchen. But the kids will drink water that makes them very, very sick. And they haul water sometimes, or much of the time actually, to earn pennies for clothing, food, perhaps some fuel. And they dig in the ground. They dig because they're subsistence farming, just to eat. And again, hopefully, there's a little bit of money left over. The escape out of this is education, and everybody knows that. The children all dream of going to school. URF started with village outreach and went on to raise the money to build a school with 30 kids, and now there's 165 of them, all working very hard, chasing their dream. The only catch for them, there aren't any books. Books and learning are important because of O-level exams. These are national exams written in Kampala, the urban center for urban children. There are 10 subject areas, and they're necessary to pass if a child is to go on in their education and escape their way of life. In Kampala, there are plenty of books for the kids to study. At Hope Academy, there aren't any. I asked Hillary, who was a volunteer who was a product of this Kampala system, what he thought of the chances of kids who were facing the O-levels without having had any books.
What sort of chance would a student have with the O-level exams at the end of S4, yes? If they had not had many books to study, compared to you?
Well, it would be pretty tough. I can tell you that it can be pretty tough. Because it was tough for me and I had all the books, right? So imagine if a student have books.
Yes.
It would be really tough for them. They'll need a lot of luck, and
yes.
I don't mean any malice, but they'll need a lot of luck actually.
Yes. All right. That'd be almost impossible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be really tough for them.
Yeah.
Really tough.
All right.
What the kids do study are the words they've written down, dictated word by word from teachers who are reading from a book, which they might have or might be in the library. And then that creates a textbook, which these kids studied very, very hard. And that's the source of their information.
Work in the New Testament. But you'll notice once again that it functions as a book, but it's written in the handwriting of the students, and they pass it to each other as a kind of a textbook. This is very time intensive, as you can tell.
There's a lot of problems to there being no books. One of the serious ones is that in taking all the time to copy and being sure they have all the information that they hear, there's no time for these kids to use the knowledge, to think with it.
And in addition to being the headmaster, you teach history, yes?
Yes, I do.
How many books do you now use in history? How do you use books in teaching history?
The situation is we actually have, I think, 3 copies in the whole school of history. So they are mine. So I have to make notes and then give the notes to the students. And then they read that, cram that, and at the end of the day write for me a paper.
Wow.
But with a textbook, they would be able to read more in the textbook and then think for themselves, and at the end of it write something which is more than what I've given them. Because my notes limit them to my thinking, so they don't think for themselves. It's me who thinks for them, and they have to remember what I gave them.
Absolutely.
This block to thinking caused by the need to copy down what's essentially dictated by teachers is important because the O-level exams have a lot of interpretive questions on them.
When I started teaching, I was trying to use styles like we would at home, where the teacher would ask a question and the class would come up with an answer to it. But they would just stare at me blankly, and their teacher would say, "They're waiting for you to tell them what to write." And I said, "I'm not going to tell them what to write. I want them to write down their ideas, their thoughts." And they just couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Urban schools such as St. Mary's here have a textbook for every child. It's a traditional system and it's easy to understand. It's not so easy to understand a poli-sci library that's got 4 books in it total for everyone. A lot of Oliver Twist in Kampala. Not too many business books at Hope Academy. A lot of reference books, a lot of stuff for term papers in Kampala. The entire periodical section at Hope. This is all there is to study biology with. This is the entire library in chemistry. This is everything at Hope about geography. This is everything about computers, mostly old manuals. Everything about social studies, history of the world, and all there is about math. Listen to Florence. You can hear the pride in her voice because she has found the one book in the library on math.
Okay. Have you got one?
Yes.
Do you have a book with you?
Yeah, I have a book for mathematics.
Let me see.
This one.
Oh, okay. Hang on here. We'll take a look at it. Okay, good. Where did you get it?
I got it from the library.
How many copies are there in the library?
1 cup.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you get the book out of the library?
Again, this is the entire math section of the library at Hope. This is Asa, who was a wonderful kid, been there for 4 years, wants to be a doctor.
So if you don't pass these exams, you can't go on.
Yeah, you can.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you can.
And that's studying for the test, eh?
Yeah.
When you studied biology this year, did you have a book to use?
Personally, I don't have a book,
Yeah.
but I do get some books like from the library,
Yes?
and I use it. But like this kind of book, like very practical.
Yeah, very good, eh?
Yeah, there is only one book.
There's only one?
Yeah, like this one is only one book.
How many people would like to see that book?
And here it is, the entire biology section of the library. Shafiq has got one of the 2 books in all the school on African history.
No.
This is from the library?
Yeah.
How many how many books of those are there? How many copies?
Now we have two books for East, South.
This is for history?
This one is for history, South
Yeah.
Africa.
Yeah.
And we have another one for history, East Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the Shaka Zulu, yeah?
So Shafiq and his classmates band together around one book to try to learn what they have to learn. And there they are again, the only books in school on social studies and history. The only books for classes this size. Dan and I are clear at how poorly this system works, how unjust it is that kids who have such needs and such dreams must hang on every word that's read from the one book by willing teachers who care, but who despair. We asked them if they could give us a list of what they needed to do a minimally decent job for these kids, and they did. Books, English texts, math texts, history, physics, biology, and more. That's 6,000. Primary textbooks for younger kids. They come from local village schools to tutor at Hope to get a start. And books for the community. Because the library in part is meant for the community use. Total 13,600 thereabouts to provide the dream, to provide the chance for these kids to have a chance. Only about 60% of them pass their O levels now. And everybody knows, all teachers, And staff agree that with books that figure could be a great deal higher. And Hope can become a place where the vast majority of kids have a chance. Dan and I don't want to stop with that, actually, this year. We've got another intention. The work is so hard here, these guys have to take their books home and study there. But it's rural Uganda, and often enough, there's no light. There is some, perhaps, that comes from the purchase of paraffin, a kind of kerosene that drives these little things. Enough to fill that lamp for an hour's worth of light, maybe for 2 nights. It comes in that Coke bottle, and that's worth more than food. So kids sometimes have to make that choice. The light is inadequate. It smells, it pollutes the lungs, it irritates the eyes, and most importantly, that's open fire from fuel. This young fella, he's got 3rd-degree burns from that fact. He's healing, doesn't think much of it, but it's awful. Dan and I want to purchase 200 of these compact, single-piece solar lamps that give good light for 3 hours at night from 1 hour or from just a day's exposure to light. The light itself from them is clear, it is safe, and it's going to help anyone who needs light to work at home at night. So we propose to buy one of these for each one of the kids. That's going to come to about $3,000. So that adds on to what we're looking for.
So Shafiq, you know that Mr. Dan and I are going to try to go home and get money for solar lamps, yeah? Driven by the sun?
Yeah. I have had some information about it, and we are all at school, and we had the headmaster talking about it.
Yes.
And every student was so happy because now these days fuel are getting expensive, and even at home, our parents, they can't allow us to burn the fuel during night while we are revising.
It's hard to get over the words of Hillary.
They'll need a lot of luck, and
Yes.
I don't mean any malice, but they'll need a lot of luck, actually.
Yes. All right.
Well, they may or may not be out of luck. Perhaps some of that is up to us. Text and library books, 13,600. Solar lamps, 3,000. Total, we want to raise by February 1st, 17,000. Those of you who want to join in this effort, checks can be written to the Uganda Rural Fund, Post Office Box 388, West Springfield, Mass. 01090. URF is fully tax exempt. You'll get documentation of your gift. You should know that 10% of the gift has to go to administrative expenses, but the rest goes for this task and this project. These kids, again, they have a right to have a chance to have a chance. They have a right to their dream, and with any luck, we might be able to help them. Thanks for taking the time to let us share this with you. Of course, we hope you want to help, but one way or the other, thanks again for your time.